And let me list just a few of her involvements and achievements. She is a member of the District-wide School Improvement Committee. She is a member of the Drama Club, and she is in charge of costume design for drama. She is a member of the Key Club. She has been a member of the French Club. She is president of the Multicultural Club. She is a student association member. She is a member of Youth Court. Those are just some of them. And she also speaks Spanish fluently. She has a marvelous background. Delightful young lady. I've had such a pleasant time speaking with Gabriella tonight and her family. And I also would like to introduce her parents. Would you please stand up? They are absolutely Margarita and Mark. And Margarita, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you tell us your name? Because you say it so
It's Margarita. I always say like the drink, so people know how to spell it. They know how to spell it.
My favorite drink, by the way.
So, as I said, these are only a few of her accomplishments. She has many, and she has traveled much as well. And she's going to tell you all about her experience. So without further ado, please welcome Gabriella. Oh, yes, I think that's a good idea.
Thank you so much.
Take me anywhere.
Good evening. I'm truly honored to have been asked to speak here tonight. On June 17th, I drove down to Albany to attend the Students Inside Albany conference, as sleep-deprived and cranky as a post-prom student could be. I asked myself continuously on the ride down whether I had been pushing my luck too much by committing to this conference after such a long weekend. My question was answered as soon as I arrived. Many students had arrived much earlier and had since gotten to know each other. I was one of the last to arrive and the only one from my school, so naturally, I was a bit intimidated walking into the room full of strangers. Immediately, I found a table and began to chat with the other students. All of my worries soon went away, and I realized that we were all in the same boat. Everybody in the room was happily chatting, adults included, and the excitement could be felt throughout. It was a great atmosphere. That first night, two lobbyists, Blair Horner and Barbara Bartoletti, talked to us about the basics of lobbying and the inner workings of our New York State government. I will be frank, before this conference, I had no idea what lobbying was. And although I understood the government much better than many of my peers, I discovered there was plenty left to learn. The next day, we toured the Capitol building and received another lesson, this time from Barbara Bartoletti. The Capitol building was absolutely fascinating and far exceeded my expectations. As a teenager, we are sometimes perceived as not appreciating things or taking things too lightly. I can assure you that there was not a single student in the group who did not appreciate that building. Its history and design was truly remarkable. The faces in the columns, the $1 million staircase, and different chambers was something to marvel at. Sitting in the chambers only heightened our excitement for our shadowing opportunities later that day and Tuesday. During Ms. Bartoletti's talk, she acted out the right and wrong ways a lobbyist would approach an assembly member or a senator with their issue. This gave us all insight into her job and how lobbyists persuaded the assembly members and senators to support or oppose an issue. The next event was the highlight of my conference experience. I shadowed Assemblywoman Janet Dupree, and I can full-heartedly say it was one of the most amazing and educational experiences I've ever had. I went to her office to introduce myself, and we chatted on our way to the assembly floor. She pulled one of the seats meant for the other audience members and placed it directly next to hers. I was introduced to various assembly members, observed the voting process, and I even heard some assembly gossip. While I was there, the bill to continue mayoral control of New York City schools was brought up, and various members stood up to give their views on the issue or to justify their vote. I had always heard about discussions such as these, but to see it for myself was something I will never forget. I was extremely lucky to shadow such an impressive woman. I'm very proud that our area has such a great representative and such an amazing role model for young women and girls. Later that night, 2 news people explained the role of media in government. I never really considered the impact the news has on public opinion, and these men really opened my eyes to the importance of the media. The following day, we had 2 speakers lecture us about their organizations and experiences lobbying for different issues. We toured the New York State Court of Appeals and then made our way to the Capitol building to shadow the senators. 3 of us were assigned to our Senator Betty Little. We spent some time in her office asking her secretaries questions and learning about her career. She had to attend a meeting, so we met her down in the Senate chambers. Sorry. We did not experience as much legislative business down in the Senate as we had in the Assembly due to the later start time, delays, and the limited time we had. The Senate was much more formal, and even though we had very little time to speak to Senator Little, she was very eager to answer our questions and anything else we had. We got the chance to sit in a finance committee meeting, which was a very interesting experience. The daily schedules and commitments of our senators was crazy, and I have to give them props for balancing so many responsibilities. Wednesday morning, we had a debriefing session and a certificate ceremony. We got the chance to ask any remaining questions and talk about our individual experiences from the last 4 days. It was a very bittersweet time. Everyone there was sad to see that it was time to leave. We had all enjoyed our stay there and made lasting friendships and memories that will never be forgotten. Abraham Lincoln was once quoted saying, "I walk slowly, but I never walk backwards." I believe this quote perfectly sums up the view of politics I took away from this experience. Although at times it seemed as if nothing was being accomplished, things always moved forward. In those 4 days, I learned more about our state government than I have in any of the history classes I've taken throughout my school career. In complete honesty, I had almost no interest in politics before the conference. Now I am considering majoring in international relations in college. I can definitely say this was a valuable learning experience, one that bettered me as a citizen and one that I will never forget. I cannot express my gratitude enough to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. It is an experience I will fondly remember for years to come. Thank you.